We are out here in 42nd Street, Grand Central, New York City. My name is Yamir Chabur. I'm part of the Troika Collective. I'm out here with a group of people in solidarity with the Venezuelan revolution, demanding the freedom of Alex Saab, who's a Colombian Venezuelan diplomat who was illegally kidnapped by the U.S. government and in Cape Verdean, in the African country, illegally, because he tried to define the illegal U.S. blockade that the United States has against the Venezuelan people. So we are here to demand our government, to demand President Joe Biden to free Alex Saab.
Okay, Alex Saab is a political prisoner of the United States. He was kidnapped by U.S. government agents on his way in the ocean to go and get a deal with some countries that would supply food and medicine to Venezuela. Items that are sanctioned by the imperial U.S. policy against Venezuela and any independent nation in Latin America or anywhere else. Like the criminal embargo around Cuba since 1960, Venezuela faces punishing sanctions that hurt the working people of Venezuela and change nothing politically, because the Venezuelan people are committed to independence from imperialism, and they'll fight to the very death to defend their country against aggression. And that's what it is. We want to free Alex Saab, who is merely trying to aid the working people of Venezuela. Hands off Alex Saab. Hands off Julian Assange, who is another political prisoner, a prisoner that exposed U.S. war crimes and intervention in Latin America.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're out here in the Common today demanding the release of the Venezuelan diplomat Alex Saab. A year and a half ago, Alex Saab was kidnapped by the United States in Cabo Verde while he was on the way to Iran. He was trying to get humanitarian supplies, food, medical supplies for Venezuela, but the United States has refused to allow that and has been holding him in prison and torturing him ever since. This case sets a dangerous precedent. Alex Saab, as a foreign diplomat, should have diplomatic immunity. He never stepped foot on U.S. soil, and his only crime has been violating the illegal United States sanctions that have been found illegal by the United Nations and various other international bodies.
And as an American patriot, I respect 1776 and the fight against British imperialism. And just as we fought against the British Empire and the free trade system, the people of Venezuela, the people of the Bolivarian Republic, are fighting against the American Empire on Wall Street and on London. There is no purpose for why the U.S. should be sanctioning Venezuelan food, Venezuelan medicine, and preventing Venezuela, a sovereign nation, from conducting trade on their terms. There's no reason why the U.S. needs to go around the world. We do not want a war in Ukraine. We just got out of a war in Afghanistan. There is no reason for U.S. sanctions on independent countries conducting their own business. Free Alex Saab, drop the sanctions on Venezuela.
We stand today next to Simon Bolivar. We're demanding the immediate release of Alex Saab, Venezuelan diplomat, who's been imprisoned, detained, and tortured by the United States government. In 2020, the combination of COVID and U.S. sanctions hit especially hard in Venezuela. The U.S. government admits sanctions on state oil companies contributed to the decline in the economy. The U.S. even blocked oil for food swaps by Venezuela. Alex Saab was asked by President Nicolas Maduro to embark on an urgent humanitarian aid mission to Iran for food, medicine, and essential supplies. On this mission, he was kidnapped by the United States on behest of the United States, detained, imprisoned, tortured for 1 year in Cabo Verde. Every effort was made for months by U.S. agents to break him, turn him, get him to betray the Venezuelan people. But he refused. Alex Saab had a great legal team. They filed many legal challenges, but they have been deported and barred from Cabo Verde. In October 2021, Alex Saab was kidnapped for a second time by the United States, just before the final legal challenges that could have released him. He was taken to Miami, blindfolded, hooded, in chains, taken to a federal prison. This is a violation of internationally recognized diplomatic immunity, even in times of war, going back to 1961 from the Vienna Convention. What was Alex Saab's crime? The media and the United States government wants you to think it was money laundering. Alex Saab conducted perfectly legal international trade. He was circumventing illegal U.S. sanctions.
And Alex Saab is being detained just for helping the Venezuelan people by providing them with food, medicine, and shelter.
Mr. Saab is not an American citizen. He has never been an American citizen. He was working on behalf of the Venezuelan government with diplomatic immunity to the Islamic Republic of Iran. U.S. officials have no right to detain the man. They have no right to yank him off that plane in Cape Verde, and they have no right to hold him here in the United States to try him for an American crime that he did not commit on American soil. He is a man who's doing what is right, who is doing what is just, and he should be praised instead of demonized by the U.S. government and the U.S. media. It's wrong, and I want you to think about this fact. If they can pull a diplomat, a man who should have international immunity when he commits so-called crimes, if they can arrest and detain a diplomat from another country, what can they do to you, an average American? What can the government do to you? What rights of yours can they persecute, and what rights of yours can they prosecute? Think about that. We must free Alex Saab.